I lied. I'm back. I'm like, you know what? It's quiet up there. The baby is probably happily watching a show with the girls and having a snack. There's no reason for me to rush out of here. So we're going to play because we can. And I'm about to lose my mind. So let's play. Now, this is a tumbler that we started last week, guys. Okay. This is a tumbler that has a powder coating on it. We just took a sandpaper. I think I used 320 grit because I couldn't find any 220 grit at the store. And we sanded it with 220 grit sandpaper to make it roughed up and take off that slick coating that's on the outside. We did not go all the way down to the silver. You don't need to. You can see I hit it here. Not a big deal. Okay, you don't need to go down all the way down to that slick silver. It doesn't matter. I am going to take now my uh, tack it over and over. So if you are kind of new to doing this, the world of tumblers is fantastic. It's super fun to make your own tumbler and create it how you want. Um, we're going to use this tack it over and over. Now, if you've never played with tack it over and over, it is a product. It's an adhesive. And the fun thing about this adhesive is it doesn't dry. So even if it looks dry, it's still going to be sticky. So that's why we like it for doing tumblers and all of our just flipped it over my shirt. That's why we like doing it for all of our crafting because you can use it and you're not going to have to rush through this glue application process. You can get it on there and then take your time. Sorry, this is this is the biggest paintbrush that I had down here. I'm still in the middle of transitioning from Texas to California, so I don't have all my craft supplies unloaded. I do have a cabinet to put them all and unload them all into, but I don't have the time to build it. So that's the fun thing about moving with 4 kids. And my husband is still in Texas. He hasn't been able to move out yet. It was a sudden move. We found a house, bought it very quickly, and then transitioned me and the kids. But I'm still wrapping up everything over at the ranch. And then, of course, everything keeps going wrong at the ranch. Like the septic tank has now decided to be a problem. And so he's got to deal with that. And like it's one thing after another. So he's not even going to be living here by Christmas. We're hoping he's going to be here for Christmas, but he's not going to be living here for Christmas. So what I'm just doing is I'm applying this in a thin coat. I'm just using this paintbrush. This is what I got at the dollar store. I prefer the fish brush for this because it's big, wide brush and it does a nice smooth application, but we're working with what we got here. Okay, but like I said, I don't have to, I'm only rushing because I'm on camera with you guys. And I know it's like mind-numbingly boring to sit and watch somebody 3 times. Yay! It's mind-numbingly boring to watch somebody do something like this. So I'm trying to go through very, very quickly, but also explain the process of what I'm doing. You do want these to be kind of smooth brush strokes. You see this lump, like I'm not going to leave that lump there. Is it going to tragically hurt anything to be there? No, but if you're using a fine glitter, your glitter is going to kind of clump on that spot. So you do kind of want a relatively smooth application of this adhesive. Again, this is going to be tack it over and over. You can see I apply my tack it into a bowl, into my little mixing cup, medicine cup. We use them for mixing stuff. I'm holding like this. I do that that way I don't contaminate anything, especially if it's a good habit if you're working with glitter, so you don't actually accidentally double dip and then end up with glitter inside your containers to mess up anything else. Now you can see I'm just holding this with my left hand and I'm just applying the glue with my right. And I'm just going to coat it all. This is that's a rhinestone stuck on there. This is an inexpensive tumbler that I got on sale. I believe it was Walmart. I don't know. It had a $9.99 sticker on it that I didn't recognize as a Walmart sticker, but I don't recognize it as anything. So maybe it was it could have been like a Home Goods or something maybe. I don't know, a weird sticker. It didn't have a label on it where it was from. I got it a couple of years ago. So we're just grabbing it. Like I said, we don't need to base color this one because it's got the color of the tumbler is already on there. So if you guys are just jumping in, this is just a tumbler. You can get these at thrift stores. If you're making this for yourself and you don't mind thrift store tumbler, you can get these stainless steel tumblers at thrift stores. You can get them at Ross. You can get them at the dollar store. They're not $1, but they are there. You can get these at Walmart. We do have some on our website. You can get them from wholesalers. They usually have to buy in bulk to get them in the wholesale price. but I'm going to teach you guys how to play with this. All right. So right now we've got this tumbler. We did a sandpaper on this. We put I used 320 grit, but you can use 220 grit. They didn't have any at Walmart when I ran. So we used a 320 grit sandpaper, gently sanded the whole surface, took the shininess off of it. Now we didn't sand through the color. Doesn't matter. If you want to do a different color on your tumbler, just sand it, then spray paint it with a base color of spray paint of the color that you choose. All right. Hi. If anybody is new to following us right now, we have a smoke and deal going on the website right now. It's Cyber Monday. So we have a bunch of 40% off items on under today's deals on the website. And then we also have some freebie items, one per person. And then we have some stuff that are like 50 cents. So there's stuff on our website right now for like 50 cents, $1, $2, $3. Yes, and then today's micro mix is also on sale 40% off. So you can find that up on the website. The website's iwantglitter.com, and you're going to click on today's deals. You're going to find all the Cyber Monday deals right there. All right, and then we do have a free shipping at $25, so it's super easy to get an inexpensive priced stuff on our website today. Okay, so hold on. I do have where's my tumbler stand? It's floating around. Here we go. So I just then go to the Dollar Tree and get one of these. Guys, super inexpensive. Okay, if you're at Dollar Tree grabbing yourself a stainless steel tumbler, also grab one of these. It's a paper towel rack because my tumbler now has glue on it. Now we use tacking it over and over, so I'm not rushing because this is going to stay sticky. Tack it over and over does not dry. It actually dries, but it's still adhesive. So you're going to stick it right onto your Dollar Tree paper towel rack to hold it while you're kind of setting up your other stuff. Set it off to the side. Then you're going to get your glitter ready. Now you can we have glitter ombre tools. I'm going to not use one today because I want to be able to show you guys how to do this without a special tool. Special tool is we call them ombre glitter shakers. They're essentially tea strainers. You put your glitter in there, tap it, and it works beautifully. But not always going to be reasonable, right? Okay, so we're going to be using Ragnar, which is our glitter Ragnar. We're going to be using Zaid, and we're going to be using Live Mix number 142. Ooh, wait. I'm just going to use Zaid and Live Mix number 142. So we're going with Zaid. Zaid is a digital holographic, kind of like a seafoamy blue. And then Live Mix number 142. This is a custom blend that we made on live one day. We did it's what's called Live Mix up on the website. If you're shopping our glitter on our website, the coupon code glitter50, I have it written here somewhere. This is going to give you half price off of all the glitter on the website. Okay, glitter50. The website is iwantglitter.com. And then this is our coupon code for 50% off all the glitter on the website, including bundles. So we have some glitter bundles that have 2-3 glitters in them. This will work on those as well. All of our super fines, chunkies, custom mixes, everything. Okay. All the glitter on the website is half price with that coupon code right now. Okay. So we are going to do the chunky, super chunky boy with Zaid. Okay. When you are mixing a chunky and a fine as an ombre, you want to do the fine first. Then you also would decide whether you want the chunky on the top or the chunky on the bottom. I always call it the weight on the top or the weight on the bottom. That's going to be personal preference, whether you want chunky or a fine. Okay. On the top or the bottom. What am I going to do? I'm going to do chunky in the middle. So we're going to do chunky in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do a chunky collar around the center piece. Okay, so what I'm going to start out doing is I'm going to open them both up so they're ready to go. I normally would use parchment paper. Okay, I normally would use parchment paper for this. It's upstairs, and if I walk upstairs, my 2-year-old is gonna see me, and she woke up from her nap, but if she sees me, she's gonna scream, and she's not gonna leave me alone. I won't be able to come back down here. So we're just using printer paper as my catcher for now, okay? But normally I would be using a large piece of parchment paper to catch the glitter that shimmies down. So what I'm gonna start with doing is coating the butt, okay? All the excess glitter is just gonna land onto my paper. Normally would be parchment. That's why I almost said parchment paper. Okay, and then I'm going to put a nice little solid amount along the bottom edge. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to get a nice solid amount along the top. Now, if you missed what I'm using as adhesive, this is Eileen's Tack It Over and Over. If you just search Tack It, it's an Eileen's product, but just search Tack It. It will pop up. Okay. It dries. It's different than Mod Podge. Mod Podge will dry very, very quickly. tack it over and over, does not dry. Okay, it stays slightly tacky. Now we're gonna hold this thing at an angle, and we're gonna take our glitter and we're gonna tap it on. Okay, so we're gonna tap this in, and I just let it shimmy down. So notice how it's just kind of slightly, I'm tapping it right on top. So what okay, I'll try to hold the angle for you guys. I'm dropping the glitter right where I've already dropped it, but then I'm letting it shimmy down the tumbler at the angle that I'm holding it. So it naturally ombres itself. So the heavy bit of glitter is hitting where I've already got the heavy amount of glitter, and then the fine amount of glitter just kind of shimmies down the tumbler. Okay, this is an easy way to do that ombre. Okay, don't stress. You can always go back over with spray adhesive if you overdo it. Okay, so don't stress. But like, you see how I'm just naturally just trying to hold that chunky, sorry, when I tap the cup, the bag of glitter, I'm having it land on this area right here that's got the densest amount of glitter, so I don't, but I don't have to control the shimmy as much. And then I'm letting it siphon itself down the tumbler. Okay, and that's how I'm going to kind of control how much glitter I have. Okay, so now you see it's already naturally ombreing itself. Okay, and then I'm going to go do the same thing but up from the top. I'm going to tap that glitter and let it shimmy down the cup. And that's going to naturally ombre. The more aggressive you hold that angle of the tumbler, the farther down that shimmy's going to go. Now I'm kind of being mindful of this down going on in the middle because I've got this is a modern tumbler. So you see right there where I did it and it got really heavy handed. I'm not going to stress about it. I think people have a hard time with these tumblers because they overthink it. Don't overthink it. I'm the queen of the pivot, guys. Everything is workable. Okay. Okay. There we go. So now we've got we have that glitter naturally applied on there. So what we did was we put a heavy band down here and then tapped it at an angle and let the heavy amount hit here, and then it just gently fell down the tumbler this way. Same, we angled it this way. We put a heavy ring at the top and then let it gently fall down here. Okay, so now we're going to go in, put this back on our tumbler stand right there. Moving that here. So if you guys are just jumping in, what we use is to put the glitter on the tumbler is called tack it over and over. And we're going to get the glitter on there. Now there's multiple ways to seal this glitter in and make all this permanent. You're going to use either epoxy or a product called Crystalac. It's going to be personal preference. I just tried to actually go back to Crystalac. I used it many years ago. Went back to epoxy. It's my preference. But I started trying to use it here at this new house. But I'm going back to epoxy. I prefer epoxy. I don't mind wearing a chemical respirator and my nitrile gloves. The process is so much faster. You get a nice smooth coat so much easier. So it's my jam. Okay, so now what we do is we've got our ombre already in here. So now we're going to go in with our chunky glitter. And we're going to pour our chunky glitter on there, and we're going to press this in. Okay, I press it down in so that way we make sure all that chunkiness sticks really well. Put it in, and notice I'm pushing that glitter farther over the blue than it really needs to be, but that's because that blue is already stuck down. So it's not going to affect it, but we want it to ombre, so we want some to actually stick in the nooks and crannies of the Zaid. Okay. And we're going to just slowly rotate. Now, this is a translucent glitter. It does have some rose gold and it does have some lavender in there. It has some bars, but it has a lot of translucent opal glitter in there. It's going to show that lavender behind it. That's why I was happy with this Live Mix color, because I knew that it was going to show through. That light blue, kind of periwinkle blue of the base of the tumbler was going to show through, which would then match with my aquamarine. So that little bit of blue will poke through. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this. Pressing it down is just going to help that chunky glitter attach onto that, tack it over and over. Okay. And then we have the collar in the middle of the chunkier glitter with the opalescent, and we've got that aquamarine on the outside. Now this will get spray painted with clear glossy spray paint. Oops. This will get spray painted with clear glossy spray paint. Normally my parchment paper is bigger than these little pieces of paper, so I wouldn't have such a glitter mess. Okay, so what this will do is they will now take this, put it in our spray paint box. Oh, I don't have that here anymore. I will be putting this, I'll take it outside, spray paint it with clear glossy spray paint. I'm gonna put probably 3 coats of clear glossy spray paint over the top of it, and then that will prep it for the next step. Now, the next step, when you spray paint clear glossy spray paint over the top, and a lot of creators miss this, especially if you're a newbie, you do need to let that spray paint gas off for 24 hours. So I'm gonna spray paint it, and then I will not touch this cup again for 24 hours after I spray paint it. If you try to coat this with epoxy before that 24-hour mark, the epoxy is going to fisheye on you, because the spray paint may feel dry to the touch, but it is not dry. It is still very much gassing off, and it's going to fetch that epoxy, and it's going to fisheye. You're going to get all kinds of problems with your epoxy. All right, so this is going to get clear glossy spray painted. It will sit on this stand. The clear glossy spray paint is going to seal all that glitter in and kind of hold it in place a little bit better as well. So you've got the tackiness underneath, and you've got the spray paint over the top kind of holding it in place for the next step. Now, let's say you did this and you were like, well, I was expecting more of that chunky glitter to hold. Okay, what you're going to do, you're like, I wanted more of that live mix to be in the middle. The best way to do that is with epoxy. I knew darn well doing this with the tack it over and over, it was going to grip more of the fine glitter out of that chunky mix over the chunky, right? Because it just doesn't have the grip. But what you will now do is you're going to spray paint this in clear glossy spray paint, and then you can go through and do put 3. If you're going to do this next step the way I'm telling you to add the chunky, you're going to put 4 coats of clear glossy spray paint over the top of this. Okay, let it sit for 24 hours. Then you're going to come in and you're going to take about 5 to 6 milliliters of epoxy. So you're going to do 3 parts A and 3 parts B. That's if you have a 1-to-1 mix ratio of your epoxy, guys. So you're going to do 1-to-1 part, equal parts. If that's follow the manufacturer's instructions, mix it however you need, but based on your manufacturer's instructions. But you want 6 milliliters at the end, or 6 grams, depending on if you do your epoxies by weight or volume. There's hundreds of brands of epoxy, so I can't give you a blanket of this is how you mix epoxy, because every brand is different. So you want to have ultimately 5 to 6 grams or milliliters of epoxy. Okay, then you're going to take it on the bottom of the tumbler after it's been sealed and dried for 24 hours. Oh, I got to put a little more Zaid on there. I'll get it in a minute. And then you're going to put that epoxy on the bottom, and then you're going to work it down. Now, if you are brand new, 6 milliliters is not going to be enough. You're going to struggle big time. So what I want you to do is put this on a tumbler turner and use 10 milliliters and work that 10 milliliters. It should be a very, 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 very thin layer. Very thin layer, not a thick a full coat of epoxy would be 20 milliliters or 20 grams. We're going to go with 10 because you want it to be a thin layer. And then you're going to take your live mix and you're going to drop it right on top of that epoxy. Okay, that epoxy is going to grip all the chunkiness. We will continue to do that on this tumbler as we go. But for now, we're kind of at the stopping point for this. These tumblers do take multiple days, but you can see that ombre is real nice and subtle, but just by doing the tap and shimmy. Okay, so that's really what I want to show you guys today. All right, so we're going to get this guy. I'm going to hit this little spot. Looks like I missed this little spot right here. We're going to hit that with some more glitter, and then I'm going to put clear glossy spray paint on this. And then tomorrow we can come back and put that. We'll do a coat of that epoxy, and I'll show you guys that step. So that way it's cemented in for you guys on how to do that without me just telling you how to do it. Unfortunately, these tumblers take multiple day processes to show you guys. Now, if you guys are just jumping in, there is a huge sale on the website going on right now. It's Cyber Monday. So hop over to the website. If you are on TikTok, the website the link is in our bio. If you are on YouTube, it's at the bottom of your screen. And then Glitter 50 is going to get you half price off all the glitter on the website. Okay, Glitter 50 in all capital letters, no spaces. Glitter 50. Okay, that's for half price off all the glitter on the website. And then if you go to today's deals, that's our little today's launch stuff. There are items on 40, 60, 40, 60%, 100% off. We have some freebie items up there. So go through today's deals on the website and get your freebies. Get your 40% off, get your 60% off. There's a monster sale going on. So make sure you check that part of the website out. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow to do a little bit more. We will be, we'll get this guy under epoxy and show you guys that step to add that collar. All right. Bye, everybody. Okay. I forget that when TikTok is live with me, I can't say the website. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we started my tumbler. But I gotta put Zaid back on that butt. Because I missed a spot. Hi, guys. All right, let me bring up the YouTube comments. No, wrong one. Hi, guys. Hold on, where's me? Where's the new one? Am I not live on YouTube? Hold on, I gotta refresh YouTube. There we go. Wait. Ombré on a tumbler. There I am. Okay, sorry. Hi, guys. Okay, because I couldn't, it's very hard for me to figure out which one because I'm wearing the same outfit in all 3 videos. Hi, guys. All right, so I am going to be going back to epoxy, y'all. I can't do the crystallic. It just takes too long. I'm going to be suiting up, going back to epoxy. Now, crystallic is a great option for anybody who is allergic and can't deal with all the extra steps that you have to do when you're allergic. I'm going to deal with the extra steps. I just do too much, and with lives, like I need to be moving too quick. It takes too long. Somebody doesn't want to. People don't want to see the results in a month or 6 months. For me, it takes me forever. So, all right, y'all. Don't forget. Okay, so it's 40% off. Today's micro mix is 40% off today. It's only $4.80. So grab that. Don't forget to our freebie things up on the website today. 50-cent things, $1.50 things, $2 things, all that. All right. So happy shopping, happy Cyber Monday. I may or may not be live tonight. I won't be live tonight. I do finally have clear glossy spray paint, so I am going to take this guy out and spray paint him. So that way tomorrow we are able to jump in and do that round of epoxy. All right. I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.